The Silent Chord. Chapter 1. The New Home. I'll never forget the day I signed the lease for my new apartment in that quaint old building on Elm Street. It was as if fate had guided me toward it. A chance encounter with a realtor's enthusiastic smile and an unspoken promise of tranquility wrapped within its weathered walls. The building, aptly named Oakwood Manor, had stood silently since 1935, watching generations pass by through its wooden sash windows like a guardian to the city's changing rhythms. I was captivated by its charm. Whispers of a storied past only added allure. My first night in this new chapter of my life began innocently enough. The quiet tick-tock of an old grandfather clock and the creaks of settling foundations were the expected symphony of an aged structure. However, as the darkness deepened, the sounds transformed into something else entirely. Whispers seeped from the walls like misty breaths, weaving a melody that made my skin crawl. I stilled myself against the eerie chorus, listening intently, and recognized them. A tune long forgotten in my childhood, an old lullaby. It was then I heard it clearly, a woman's voice singing along with a man's deep baritone, harmonizing in perfect discord. The music reverberated from somewhere within the walls, each verse a haunting refrain echoing through my dreams and waking thoughts. Daybreak arrived with an unsettling silence, leaving me wondering if sleep had played tricks on my exhausted mind. But that evening's darkness brought another melody, this time accompanied by footsteps above, in every room of the apartment save mine. I steeled myself to investigate, flashlight at the ready. The floorboards creaked under unfamiliar weight with a rhythmic cadence as someone walked from one end of the second-floor loft to the other, each step deliberate and heavy-laden. My pulse quickened as I crept toward the stairs. Reaching the top landing, I pressed my ear against the door. Hollow echoes greeted me, and then nothing. No signs of life outside or within. The building's thick walls seemed to swallow the sounds once more, leaving an oppressive hush in their wake. Days blurred into weeks, the unexplained occurrences tapering off as suddenly as they began. Life settled into a routine: work, writing, meals alone by candlelight. It was during one of these quiet nights that I discovered a peculiar artifact while rearranging my bookshelves. A journal tucked between two hardcovers. A yellowed cover with hand-drawn vines adorned its leather. The bound spine caught the flickering light of my reading lamp's gaze. Curiosity overpowered me, and I opened it. The pages within bore an erratic scrawl. Each entry dated meticulously from the 1940s to the late 50s. The author spoke of a woman named Evelyn, her passions, loves, fears, but there were moments where her voice wavered, hinting at dark happenings. One passage stood out. They come for me in the night, their whispers weaving a song that draws me near. I must escape this accursed place. Intrigued by these ghostly serenades and cryptic messages, my writer's heart began to suspect that Oakwood Manor held secrets buried deep. Determined to unravel them, I started researching. Evelyn's story became the thread I'd follow into the tapestry of the building's history. Her tale was one of forbidden love and tragedy. A young couple, Evelyn and James, who dwelled in my apartment. It seemed their bond wasn't meant for this world. As I delved deeper, an unsettling pattern emerged. Strange happenings always preceded their fateful day together. November 14th. With each passing night, those haunting songs returned with increased frequency. They drew closer, echoing through the walls like the very chords Evelyn spoke of in her final entry. My mind raced as I pieced together events from the diary and the sounds that had begun to haunt me once more. If what I suspected was true, I must be prepared. Chapter 2. Whispers in the Walls. The night after my research, candles flickered and sputtered, casting macabre shadows in my room. Evelyn's final entry pulsed with a sense of urgency. Tonight is the eve. They'll come again for me. As 11 p.m. ticked by, the song began anew. My apartment reverberated with voices both familiar and long forgotten. I gripped my flashlight tightly, approaching the door to the loft above mine. An inexplicable pull urged me forward, toward Evelyn's fate. The floorboards creaked underfoot as I ascended, reaching the landing. Empty, save for a light flickering in the second room from where it originated. Heart racing, I pushed open the door to find James and Evelyn, embracing as one, their faces illuminated by that solitary candle flame. They spoke of a love forbidden by class, yet determined to pursue it. Their voices were my lullaby, now a constant companion. In them was both solace and terror. The connection between their tale and these haunting melodies deepened with each passing night. Each morning, I found myself facing new pages, adding to the diary's contents. Fragments of Evelyn's story. I began to record every sound, every whisper, hoping to understand its meaning. My days blurred as nights filled with research and transcription. My apartment became a shrine to lost love, whispers from beyond the veil. One evening, an unexpected knock at the door interrupted this ritual. The loft above was vacant when I'd moved in, or so I thought. A tall man stood there, his features indistinct beneath the faint moonlight filtering through the window. "James," he said, voice low and urgent. "You must leave while you still can." Evelyn appeared beside him, ethereal and forlorn, her eyes red-rimmed. They spoke of ancient chords that bind souls, binding destinies in a silent dance. Evelyn warned me to part ways with Oakwood Manor before it was too late, but I felt a strange affinity, an unwavering connection to this haunted sanctuary. James whispered of the silent chord they sang, a force capable of entwining lives. They spoke of its power and danger as one, their love tainted by external forces that drove them apart. Their words mingled with my own doubts about these nocturnal serenades. Days passed under the shadow of Evelyn's story, an unseen force guiding me through her memories. One evening, I awoke to the sound of shattering glass. Shards littered the floor outside my room. In the light of dawn, I discovered fragments of an old vinyl record. A 78 RPM platter with a crimson rose painted on its cover. It whirled in the silence, as if turning in the void. The music within was Evelyn and James's song, their silent chord, unearthed from the past by forces they couldn't comprehend. Curiosity wrestled with fear. I felt an inexplicable urge to hear it fully played. That night, before sleep, the platter began spinning again, filling my room with a haunting beauty that pulled me toward those distant voices. As I listened, a chill settled over Oakwood Manor. A strange energy permeated every corner. In the morning's golden light, there it was. Evelyn and James standing on my balcony, hands clasped together. The record sat between us, forgotten in our shared fascination with the supernatural. They spoke of an imminent convergence, when the silent chord would bind our fates, drawing me to a destiny I could not yet comprehend. Evelyn spoke of an artifact, a gramophone needle etched with symbols. James claimed it held their fate, and mine, if used correctly or misused by greed or malice. It was hidden within the walls, waiting for one to rediscover, to choose harmony over sorrow. Our connection strengthened each night, I felt bound as never before, linked in ways they could not comprehend. They vanished into the shadows, leaving me with more questions than answers. In that fleeting moment, my resolve hardened. I needed to find that needle and claim this silent chord's power. The loft was now a sanctuary of secrets, where whispers mingled with distant harmonies as we prepared for the fateful night ahead. Chapter 3. The Echoes of Sadness. November 14th dawned heavy with portent. As the clock struck midnight, Evelyn and James materialized on my balcony, hands still clasped. They led me through walls that felt both ancient and timeless. The gramophone hidden behind a sliding panel in the study. I extracted the needle, heart pounding as if an unseen force awaited us. In the loft's dim light, they instructed, "Draw harmony or greed will bind you." Evelyn vanished. James lingered, pleading for help to escape this cycle of loss and longing. Play it, he urged before vanishing into the night. With a trembling hand, I placed the needle, its edge tracing patterns of love and heartache. The record began, an eerie melody that reverberated in every corner of Oakwood Manor. In my room, the silent chord pulsed with an otherworldly beauty. Then it stopped on a single note, a sorrow so profound it felt personal. I was alone when the gramophone whirred to silence. Evelyn appeared beside me, radiant in the darkness, and we found ourselves within that moment's heart. Two souls bound by love and longing. Evelyn took my hand, her touch like ice. Then she vanished into thin air, leaving only a single item. Her locket with a crimson rose. I wore it as dawn broke, an unsettling peace settling over Oakwood Manor. The locket pulsed in my chest while the room held its breath, as if waiting for my next move. There was still James and his song. His spirit appeared, pleading to set him free, or he'd be lost forever within these haunted walls. His journey felt akin to the love they shared, bound by a force beyond life. The silent chord had brought us all together. With Evelyn's locket pulsing warmly against my heart, I left Oakwood Manor that morning, but its pull remained strong. I returned at dusk. In the loft, there was only one remaining entry. Run while you can still hear harmony. As I left again, an unseen force kept drawing me back. The locket hummed in response. An unseen hand held Evelyn's, leading her toward the silent chord. The day's end found both of us on that fateful loft balcony, hearts entwined by more than coincidence and love. Together we sang it, our voices merging with those long past. A crimson glow enveloped us. In its light, I felt an unseen force draw closer. They vanished, leaving me alone. The silent chord still resonated, now my inheritance. I held the gramophone, Evelyn's locket, and the needle, keys to a symphony from another realm. It was then that footsteps echoed outside. The loft door opened. James stood in silhouette, eyes ablaze with an ethereal light. "Run, please." But it was too late for him, his spirit forever lost in Oakwood Manor's grasp. Evelyn appeared beside me. The locket pulsed like a beacon against my chest, and together we sang the silent chord to completion. As I heard them fade, our entwined fates materialized into James. Their love, eternal now, so was our connection, bound by forces beyond life. The gramophone fell silent beneath an ice-cold silence. Evelyn vanished with the last note of their song, leaving only the echoes of what had begun within me. A love story turned haunting melody that filled Oakwood Manor to its very core. In those first moments of stillness, I realized my fate. entwined in harmony or forever lost within sorrow. With each silent beat, the locket's pulse weakened until it fell still and dark surrounded us once more. As I stood there, an unsettling silence took hold. Evelyn, James, and I, our hearts bound by echoes from a time past. My research became their story, my love for them, our legacy, now a haunting melody that reverberated through every corner of Oakwood Manor. A crimson rose adorned the cover, its meaning clear, an offering to those who sought harmony or damnation in this silent song. It was then I realized I was not only entangled by their fates, but also bound to carry on their legacy. The silent chord began anew within me, echoing off every wall. It was my heart's rhythm now, a melody of love and longing that would haunt Oakwood Manor as much as the hearts that resonated through its halls. The story of two souls forever lost in time, tied by a symphony from beyond, echoed through every corner.